The Team Never Quit podcast is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Partner up with Navy Federal so you can earn more and save more. You can learn all about this at NavyFederal.org. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. As always, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you haven't yet, please go hit that like and subscribe button. So today, we are having an unconventional style podcast. We are actually on vacation in San Diego, and we are chilling at the Loft 100 studios. And thank you guys so much for allowing us to come and use your studio.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of you. Where'd you find this? Because I threw this on you last minute. We're actually on vacation. This is a vacation trip.
Yeah, we actually...
You had to drive a U-Haul up here from Texas to bring furniture for one of Mel's sisters, Frank. Haley, whatever.
Yeah, just drove a U-Haul straight from Houston. It took me 2 days, and
no air
there
conditioning?
Was no AC in the U-Haul. It was actually the most
That's a qual in the
thing.
family. To do a vehicle drive from Texas across the desert all the way to California with no air
conditioning. It is something I'll never do again.
Maybe the
hottest part of the year.
Well, the hottest period in like decades.
Decades, right?
And all across the southwestern part of the United
Most
States.
of the drive was 120 degrees.
Yeah, and the AC was blowing hot air.
Yeah, whatever. Uphill both ways. I get it, man. It was
that
hard
a
when we did it too.
Truck that you had.
Big
without air
old truck.
No,
Big
let me. No offense to U-Haul on this deal, but did they give you a little break on the charge since the air conditioning didn't work?
No.
Oh,
radio.
Come on.
It's a different story.
I was at least able to
talking to one of these '90s
Bluetooth.
babies, '80s and '90s babies that had to drive with no, XM radio or anything like that. That West Texas drive,
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
One Spanish channel, and now they speak Spanish.
No, if that was
still
the
don't.
case, I probably would have just pulled over and said, "Mom, come pick me up."
All right, so give another. Where'd you find this place we're at? Because it's nice.
Just online.
Hustling?
Just online, searching it up. I actually had a recommendation by somebody that wasn't able to help us out. So,
Thank y'all again for having us out.
Yeah,
again.
this studio is
really good.
awesome.
The studio is awesome.
So, yeah, we're here on vacation. My little sister Haley just moved out to San Diego, and we happened.
I'm out here on vacation, babysitting my grandson.
Yeah, happened to be out here at the same time.
A week ago, you called, checked in. What's up? I said, well, I'm headed out to San Diego, Coronado Island. I think the kids are going to a soccer match tonight, and we're babysitting Rip. So it's kind of like, well, I'll see you out there. And
What a great name for a grandson.
Yeah. Well, he's his daddy, same business you were in back in the day, and out here on Team 3, and so they keep a place and come out in July, August timetable. So, but anyway, here we are, and literally, this thing kind of got thrown together.
Like
What,
an
at lunch?
hour ago.
Like an hour ago at lunch.
At lunch? You want to go do the podcast with us? Yeah, why not?
Hey, what are you doing? Nothing? I got something for you to do.
Cool. I got to pay for my lunch, so.
Yeah, and for the listeners, we have Governor Rick Perry next to us. I mean, a man of many accolades, former governor.
Longest serving governor of Texas history, and then Secretary of Energy.
Yep.
United States of America.
And Grandpa.
And
to
your
Rip.
grandfather.
Grandfather to Rip and
Yeah.
Finn and Ella and
The circle's complete now.
Piper.
That
Yeah.
feels different, doesn't it?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I'm going to tell you, greatest thing in the world is being a grandpa, grandma, and having good, healthy grandkids. It's life is good.
Raising the kid when you were governor when Sid and Griff were coming up, would it have been? You think it'd have been just as fun being governor with your grandkids, or is you like it better being out? Just curious.
Oh, I don't know. I don't try to conflate the two.
It's different lives.
Well, it's a different lifestyle, but parent, grandparent, real different.
Check, Roger that. I got that. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude,
yeah, I know. I can see it. I see that. Yeah,
It's going to be different.
Yeah,
and
you've told me that a lot too.
It was, Griffin and Sydney were wonderful children, and they were, never caused us any great heartburn. Never were on the front page of the newspaper for something that they did. That was a blessing. And listen, being the, Hunter, you had a little bit of that, growing up under the shadow, if you will, of an extraordinarily well-known individual, and it's got its challenges. I mean, it's some people go, oh man, I'd love to be X, and he's kind of like, don't pray for what you don't know. Sometimes
Exactly.
it's
It's
two-edged
definitely a lot.
sword. Let me put it that way.
I think you're right.
You wouldn't trade having him as your father ever, but it's always comes with a little
I
extra
talk about
lift.
that all the time.
We actually talk about this quite
I
a
was
bit.
like, hey, I hope I did a good job, because I would pick his brain and watch how he did things, because we threw you into the deep end of the pool. You should have been a disaster, an absolute disaster when I got a hold of you.
Well, there's still time,
Yeah,
right?
there's still time. I mean, you can mess with, you know what I'm talking about, but
Don't want to speak too soon.
I think about that a lot. I was like, that because it was chaotic for me, and for your mom, and the way we go. I mean, I had guidance, but still, that life in itself was difficult. We pulled you straight through it.
Yeah. Our children, considering how much spotlight was on them, from whether it was, these were kids that were in Austin High when their dad was the governor, and then I ran for president, and they really turned out incredibly
They're
well.
awesome kids. How
Yeah.
old were they when you got into the governor's office?
Let's see, that was in December of 2000, so Griffin was halfway through his junior year. He graduated in the spring of '02.
Okay.
And Griffin always tell people he came. I raised my kids to be loyal Aggies, and which they were and still are. But Griffin's kind of like, Dad, I love you and love Texas A&M, but I think I want to go to school somewhere where they don't know what you do.
Oh.
And
Tell him to go to LSU.
well, and I told him, I said, look, you need to go
Do one of
where
it.
you want to go, and not where you think I want you to go. And so he searched around various and sundry places, and ended up in the SEC
to
at
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So and it all turned out fine.
Went to Vanderbilt.
I don't know what they
You should have said you wanted him to go to Vanderbilt so he wouldn't go there.
saved me a lot of
A
money.
lot of money.
I got the first semester's bill, and I didn't know anything about Vanderbilt. I didn't know where it was. I probably could have told you it was in Nashville, but I'm not sure. And I got the bill, and I said, Nita, they sent us the full 4 years. And she came in and looked at him and went, no, that's first semester. I
Oh
went,
my gosh.
Holy mackerel. What are they teaching him that costs that much money?
Well, I'd call in the National Guard. You're going to send the governor a bill like this?
Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it all turned out fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
he's
then
doing
Sid
great.
was an Aggie, so you
And,
got.
and I get to go to heaven because Sydney went to A&M,
Yeah.
so it all worked out.
Nice.
Got through it.
Yeah.
Both of them got through it.
Aw.
Doing well.
I love that. Well, I think it's awesome that you're here because we were actually on this show before we knew you were going to be here. We were planning on doing something called the Texas Tidbits, and we're going to start Texas Tidbits for every podcast moving forward. We're going to just spend a couple of minutes talking about something Texas, and this could be a historical fact. It could be a trivia.
We're the best barbecue place in
Yes.
Texas.
So you got a big migration.
What a great idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Mel, people are going to be,
Yeah,
now that's a hook to get people to subscribe, baby.
I think so.
Come back every
Yeah.
week to
So-
find out what the new Texas Tidbit
Yes.
is. That's awesome.
Well,
So
and
you
what
got the
better place?
Californians and
Yeah.
migrating to us, the Oregons, the Orcas. We call them Orcas, right? Oregon and California. Migrating into Texas. So you got to teach them some of the
give 'em a
lingo
little
and how to
Yeah,
talk.
and
how
like
to-
the etiquette,
like
the Texas
history.
etiquette.
Like, hey, if people question you about your Texas background, everything, just say this.
Yeah,
It's like give them the
just give them the information,
the high points,
the little,
in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Here's some Texas Tidbits.
yeah.
Maybe a good book one of these days they write. A little pamphlet, here you go.
Yeah, we talked about
That
that.
would honestly,
these
I think
up.
that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
work out.
Keep
Yeah.
these. We'll put these down in a little book, and then
Yeah.
here, in a year, we'll be
That
able
can
to
be your
have
book, Hunter.
the Team Never Quit
Texas.
pamphlet.
It's got to
Yes.
be big enough to
So-
keep in your back pocket.
Yeah, so
So
when
you
you're,
can
when
slide
you're
it
moving
over
to Texas,
to,
here, just read this and you'll be ready.
Or have it on the back of the toilet, like whatever.
places you sit down and stare for
Yeah.
a long while. We need to narrow all those down. One being the toilet, the car.
Okay.
I like
Okay,
that.
so my vote, I wanted to vote today without him even being here. Who is the best governor of Texas?
Let me take that one, okay?
Okay.
Seriously, that's a incredibly interesting question. You think about it, I think we've had 48 governors in Texas history, started in 1845. So I was an animal science major. You do the math on that, how many years that's been. But so Here's my read on that.
Hold on, that LSU education. Give me the numbers.
Okay, hold on.
No, I'm
Don't embarrass me. Give him another chance.
Yeah.
Oh man, you think about, so I got to stay in the governor's mansion for 14 plus years, and I kind of pride myself knowing my Texas history pretty good, and living in that house and kind of communing with the spirits that have lived there. That house was built in 1856, so you had Sam Houston was the first governor to move in there, and of course Governor Abbott's there now after I think 48th governor is correct. But I've got two governors that, from my perspective and my history in Texas and what have you, and you think about, I'm a kid who grew up in a very rural part of Texas, dryland cotton farm, so agriculture background, went to that little tiny Paint Creek rural school, had 13 in my graduating class, went off to Texas A&M, got an animal science degree. So agriculture has an inordinate impact on me, as it did on the state of Texas, still does, but you think historically. But the greatest governor in Texas history, nobody even comes in a close second, in my opinion, Marcus, Sam Houston. And you think about it, this guy came out of Tennessee, he was the governor of Tennessee, he's been the president of the Republic of Texas, he was a United States senator, and then he was the governor of the state of Texas. And there's another little side story that I'm not going to tell this evening, but I will suggest to you that he probably could have been elected president of the United States had he stayed in the race in 1860, but he stepped away at the request of his wife. And had Sam Houston stayed and won, I don't think we'd have had a civil war. Because he was the kind of guy that had the ability to bring the northern states, who really respected him as a United States senator, and the southern states together, and we could have missed that very difficult time for the country.
That's
So
interesting.
Sam Houston, by far the most influential, most impactful governor of the state of Texas. Nobody else even close. And when you think about this guy, he created the Republic of Texas. I mean, he kept us together. He's the guy that did the runaway scrape, and we won our independence at the San Jacinto on April the 21st of 1836. I mean, and then he does so many things that are extraordinary, that literally changed the history, not just of Texas, but of this country. He brought Texas into the nation. He was the catalyst that did all. I mean, so Sam Houston, nobody else even close. Sam Houston, greatest governor there ever was.
Are you embarking on a new car journey? Let Navy Federal Credit Union be your trusted companion, providing a hassle-free experience from start to finish. We've got you covered with everything you need, all in one place. Navy Federal's Car Buying Center is your one-stop shop for researching, financing, buying, protecting, and enjoying your new dream car. Experience the joy of a seamless journey, all at your fingertips. Their mission is to also help military members and their families achieve home ownership. With their new no refi rate drop option, you can buy your home now and potentially lower your rate later without having to refinance. Plus, explore mortgage options with zero down payment, making your new dreams a reality without having to wait years. Get the green light of your dreams with Navy Federal's easy pre-approval process, whether through the mobile app, online, or by phone.
Second greatest
Real
governor.
quick, fact about Sam Houston, true or not, that when he left his house, his mom sent him with the ring.
Looks just like this one.
Yes,
right here.
and said,
You too.
I'd rather you, wait,
No.
you say
The
it.
ring has got
Hold on now. Hold on
Stand by.
now.
You
The
say it.
ring had engraved
Okay.
inside the word honor.
Okay.
Honor. And she gave him that ring, and she gave him a musket. Because he was going off to fight the Indians with Andrew Jackson. And she said, and remember, my son, my door of the cottage will be forever open to a courageous man of honor. But it will be closed forever to a coward.
Dang.
That's your mom, Dylan.
That's a
your
tough
mama.
mama.
That one hits deep.
That's like your
Yeah.
mom.
You said that to me. Don't bring your ass back
That
here.
is Marcus's
Now
mom.
I understand where he got it.
Yeah.
Why he was such an incredible man. And he had his foibles. He had his failures. He went off and got drunk after his first wife wouldn't consummate their marriage and told him, I don't love you, and I'm just marrying you for the upward mobility of my
My
family. And it
gosh.
broke his heart. And he left, literally quit being the governor of Tennessee, and went and lived with the Indians and stayed drunk for a couple of years.
wow, yeah.
No way. I
Matter
did
of
not
fact,
know that.
yeah, his nickname was Big Drunk.
That's right.
That was his nickname with the Indians. And then he came around and went to Texas, and that's where he met Margaret Lee. And she was, I want to say, like 20 years his junior, the daughter of a very devout Presbyterian pastor, if my memory serves me correct, but a man of God. And she proselyted him, brought him to Christ. And as a matter of fact, you were with me.
I was with you.
I got baptized.
I was there too.
You were there too.
I was there.
I got baptized in the same little
Creek.
spot, little creek right outside of Independence, Texas,
Yeah.
where Sam Houston was.
That's pretty
was
sweet.
baptized.
Or you'd have to
I
be
like
looking
that.
for it to find it.
Yeah, you had to be. And the greatest story of that, Lyndon Baines Johnson's grandfather was a pastor, and he's the pastor who baptized Sam Houston.
Wow.
And they're out there, and this little tributary runs down into the Brazos River. And he full on dunked him. And when he brought him back up, he looked over at him and he said, all your sins were washed away. And Sam Houston looked at him and said, I pity the poor fish downstream.
Downstream. Yeah. It's all in there.
Woo, man.
You sure you don't need to
But a
dunk
great
man?
man, incredibly great man. Second greatest governor, in my opinion, Dolph Briscoe. A lot of people go, Dolph Briscoe.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Why Dolph Briscoe? Dolph Briscoe was a rancher from South Texas. This is 1972 to 78, that time frame. He was elected to one 2-year term. Prior to 1973, we elected governors for only 2 years at a time. And then they changed it to where they ran and were elected for 4-year terms. So he had 6 years as governor. And during his time as a elected official, he did two things that substantially changed the course of Texas history. One of them was that he helped put into place the farm-to-market road system. For, a century, Texas had these old dirt roads and you couldn't get around, and, when we put hot top asphalt roads in and connected all of our small rural communities, it economically just really changed the dynamic in the state of Texas. And if for no other reason, that, I will suggest to you, probably had as much impact on Texas as anything in modern history, let me put it that way, certainly since the 1950s when that was put into place. The second thing he did, though, most people really scratch their head on, because we're an urbanized state. People don't know as much about the agricultural community, or for that matter, the livestock, wildlife community. And he helped put into place the Screwworm Eradication Program. And most Texans would have that look on their face right there. Screwworm eradication. What in the world is that? So prior to the 1940s, there was a fly that would land on a flesh cut or on the navel of a newborn calf or a newborn baby deer, a fawn. And those eggs turned into larvae that were flesh-eating larvae, and they killed literally tens of thousands of baby calves, baby deer, and it was devastating to the agriculture community. And short story on this is they irradiated these male flies, and then they dropped them all over South Texas from airplanes and little boxes, and they broke open and the flies went out, and they bred the female flies with
Sounds
bullets
like a lot.
that
Did he
were
do
blanks.
that through A&M?
Did you learn that?
Texas A&M was part of it,
Okay.
the Extension Service.
Yeah.
And then it was a federal program
Oh,
when he was the
wow.
United States Congressman, when Dolph was a congressman. So, but it
Interesting.
was that vision and the implementation of that vision and the understanding of how important agriculture economically was for the foundation of Texas. Still a very important part of the Texas economy. You know, we're very diverse now. But those two things that he did, I will suggest to you, put him in the number 2 slot comfortably. From my perspective, I'll let somebody else argue that. You know, Sam Houston is not arguable, but
Well,
there
I
you
have
go.
to say the farm to market roads, I mean, where we live,
Think about it.
almost all of our roads are FM roads, which a lot of people don't know are
And
farm
if
to market
those
roads.
were still old gravel roads, there wouldn't
Yeah.
be much economy going on.
FM 1960.
Yeah,
We've got
there you go.
249. All
Thank
of
you,
those.
Dolph Briscoe.
Yeah.
You know why the roads are the size they are, the freeways, why we have them like that?
Why is that?
It's for military purpose. So we move tanks down, and we can lock this place down.
And you know, the other reason,
Eisenhower that did that?
well, the Eisenhower, that's the Interstate Highway System.
Yeah.
Somebody need to do back up on this, but I think I'm correcting this. Every 5 miles, you have to have a straight 1 mile piece of road.
Is that true?
So if there's like a curve in the road,
You got to have a straight piece of road every 5 miles so that if you need to land aircraft, you can.
I never knew that.
interesting. Yeah, I haven't
That could
done
prove
either.
difficult in some of our terrain.
Yeah.
Okay, well, since you're here, we're just gonna-
Interstate highways, not on
farm
farm to market
Right.
roads and state highways and whatever, but on
Right.
the interstate system, that was part of it because Eisenhower had seen the Audubon system when he was the commander as the end of the war, the supreme Allied commander, and he was stationed outside of Wiesbaden, Germany, at a big kind of a mansion castle there. Which one of the great stories there is that he brought the Seabees in. The war's over with, so they're kind of going through the reconstruction, if you will. And he was there for a short period of time, and he brought the Seabees in to put him a 9-hole golf course.
Oh
in.
my
And there's
gosh.
still 9 holes.
What a guy.
Still there?
I think it's it's obviously 18 or maybe even more. Than
Oh
that
my
now.
gosh.
But there's 9 holes at this place right outside of Wiesbaden where he came in and said, "Boys, need to build me a golf course here." So kinda,
And where
they
is
didn't have
that?
much to do.
In Germany?
Wiesbaden, yeah, back Wiesbaden's, I'm going to say just west of Frankfurt. Yeah,
Okay, so what
there you
if,
go. A little bit of Texas.
I love that. A little bit of Texas trivia from, I think, the greatest governor
Oh,
of
you're
Texas
Yeah,
history.
I've got to
I was
give
going
you
to say,
my.
Yeah.
I get you with Sam. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, everything he did, you study him in Texas history.
But you are the longest standing governor in Texas history.
Yeah, got that one
Yeah.
for a while.
You
know,
did
never know.
bring in some of the biggest diversity of businesses into Texas. You
We recruited
really
a lot of businesses.
you brought a lot of the Silicon Valley people
Yeah.
into Austin.
Governing not hard.
Well,
Don't
for some
overtax.
people it is.
Don't overtax, don't overregulate, don't overlitigate, and have a skilled workforce.
And don't golf.
That's hilarious. Don't waste your time golfing.
Don't
Yeah.
waste your time golfing.
I love people that can golf. I admire them because it is one of the hardest things I ever tried to do in my life.
I remember the first time I asked you if you wanted to go play golf, and you looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, I thought all y'all golf. That's what you do.
Okay, so I think if we can just spend the rest of this time of y'all telling the story of the first time y'all met, because a lot of people don't know
Wow.
that connection.
Where were then?
Let me tell you something. There's a lot of more great stories out there with me and this Joker that some of them are to the grave. Remember that one we were like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the public one of you
I mean-
at the Buds compound, and the reason I bring this up is because we are in San Diego right now, and we're staying at the Dell
Yeah.
in Coronado.
Where it all started.
So this is where your relationship started.
End of July,
this same time.
2006.
So the same exact time, and this is all by coincidence that we're all here together. So if you could
Yeah.
tell our
Want me
listeners,
to riff?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So 2006, I'm in an election contest.
I didn't know this.
It was
and
my-
you were governor. You were
I'm
acting
sitting governor. I'm sitting governor in an election in November of 06. It's the summer. Anita, my wonderful, long-suffering wife, she says, I want to take you on a vacation. I don't like to vacation because I got ADD really bad, and so I'm kind of like, you know, to go somewhere and stay for 4 days.
Yeah.
She said, there's this great old hotel that some friends of ours told us about right outside of San Diego on Coronado Island. It's called the Hotel Del. And like, oh, great. I'm going to go sit on the beach for 4 days. Rather have my, anyway. So, security detail goes out a day early. They're on, is it Orange Boulevard?
Yep, on Orange.
They were on Orange Boulevard at a little breakfast nook, and to meet the California Highway Patrol so they can coordinate the governor's visit, right? Kind of big burly guy, slicked off hair was in there, and my detail guy thought that was who's come over, and he said, are you here for the governor? This guy looked at him and said, what governor are you talking about? And he said, Governor Perry. And he goes, nope, but I vote for him every chance I get. So that fella happened to be a F-18 pilot who was a JTAC, who was about to deploy with SEAL Team 5. He gave him the card and said, hey, if the governor would like to go through the Special Warfare Center, love to give him a tour.
And that was Jake Elsey?
That was now Congressman
Yes. Okay.
Jake Elsey, by the grace of God. Now, you talk about God having his fingerprints all over us.
If you want to secure your family's future with life insurance, discover Policy Genius. Life is unpredictable, but your family's future doesn't have to be. A good life insurance plan can provide you with the ultimate peace of mind. Imagine knowing that if, God forbid, something were to ever happen to you, your family would have a financial safety net to cover mortgage payments, college costs, or any other expenses. With Policy Genius, you can focus on what matters, and it's your loved ones. Are you relying solely on an employer-sponsored life insurance? Think twice, because it may not have enough protection to cover your whole family's needs. And it also won't follow you if you leave your job. With Policy Genius, you don't have to worry about that. You can even find policies starting at just $25 per month for over $1 million of coverage. Policy Genius is designed for parents, caregivers, and anybody with people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting life insurance so you can focus on protecting the ones that you love. No added fees, and your personal details remain private. No wonder they've earned thousands of 5-star reviews on Google. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net, and you deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. Don't wait to secure your family's future. Discover Policy Genius today. Visit policygenius.com now.
Jake was assigned to me as a pilot. So he's an F-18 pilot and a JTAC, Joint Tactical Air Controller, right? They call bombs off the planes to the ground. Mm-hmm. That's usually a ground pounder's position, but for whatever reason, we were allowed to have 2 pilots. He was one of them, and he had just been assigned to our troop. He was eating breakfast, and that's how that happened.
So I got there, guy gave me the card and said, hey, I ran into this guy and said, if you'd like to see the Naval Special Warfare Center, and I'm kind of like, awesome.
Yeah.
Anything rather than having to just sit on the beach. So we made the deal. We called, made Saturday morning, meet at the gate over there at 9 o'clock. So Jake walks through.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Get it? Saturday morning. Ain't got anything going on Saturday morning. These boys are just resting because y'all are doing workup. You're fixing to go, and this is the same. This is a year after Operation Red Wings. Mm-hmm. From May into May, 13 months. They're 14 months, something like that.
Yeah.
So we get there. He's walked over, Jake has walked over to the enlisted quarters and said, hey, does anybody want to give a VIP tour? And everybody's like, get the hell out of here.
It was more intense than that. We're like, you get out of here with that, man. No way.
He said, well, it's the governor of Texas. And so Marcus went, I'll go. I'm from Texas.
He goes, it's the governor, and I thought it was Schwarzenegger. And I was like, I get a new guy to do that, man. I've just gotten out of the hospital. And I was doing my
still boogering.
physical therapy, and I was just kind of laying there. He's like, nah, it's the governor of Texas. I was like, oh, all right, I'll do it.
So anyway, 9 o'clock we get there, do the tour. It was a fascinating tour. Took a couple hours.
Real quick though, I think one of the funniest things when Marcus saw y'all get out of the car,
Yeah, so the
he has to say this.
first person to walk out was Lady Perry, his wife, which I thought she was the governor. I've been in the military so long that I didn't know. It was Ann Richards was the governor and all this stuff. Like, I didn't know. So she comes, beautiful lady too. So I'm like,
And she looks
she looks
so
like a governor.
royal.
She carries herself like a
she's
royal. I mean,
so beautiful and like
she is wonderful. And she comes walking up to me, and I was just mesmerized. I was like, Governor, how you doing? I'm gonna show you around.
hilarious.
And then he comes out, and he's got his collared shirt on, A&M, with his slacks. He comes over and tries to talk to him, like, whatever, buddy. Hey, Miss Perry, this, that, and the other. And then I was like, how you doing? He's like, hey, I'm Governor Perry. I'm like, damn. How you doing, sir? You know, I didn't know.
I'm not sure I ever knew that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He tells that behind closed doors.
Yeah, really. Thanks for busting me right here in public.
Dude, I swear.
Dang.
You know,
I thought it was so funny.
it was only for a second. I was just drawing.
Well,
back.
besides, okay, well, let's
Okay,
get that
yeah,
on. You know,
okay.
he finally
Yeah.
got out of that trap.
That was funny.
We finish it up, and Jake, we're shaking hands, and we're saying, hey, won't you guys have dinner with us tonight? We'll be happy to buy you dinner to say thank you for your time. And we're leaving, and Jake says, did Marcus tell you? I didn't even know what his name was. I mean, he was a big old tall drink of water with his camis on, Luttrell. Other than that, he said, did Marcus tell you where he was last weekend? I was like, no. He said, yes, sir, once, and no, sir, once. And he said, well, he was at the White House receiving the Navy Cross. And I know what the Navy Cross is. And so I just let that register and go on about our business. See you boys this evening at such and such place to have dinner. I went back to the room and typed in Marcus Luttrell in my computer. After about the 5th page of nothing, he pops up on some list of 30-something people, 5-day meal plan award or something. I don't know. Just something.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I was kind of like, but during the end of that conversation, there was something about the term Operation Red Wings. And I put that in the computer, and then it blew up. And I'm kind of like, and that there was one survivor of this event. And I put 2 and 2 pretty quick and came up with who this kid really was. That evening, we had a great dinner. We
Where'd
talked.
y'all eat?
I don't remember the name of
It
it.
was on that deck.
Yeah, it's back over on the.
I think about it all the time.
It's back on the east side of the island. I couldn't tell you what
On
the name
Coronado?
of it. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We got to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, one of the guys who was having dinner with us asked a lot of uncomfortable questions to him, and because he was still real raw, physically, mentally.
Somebody that was with you?
And we're leaving. I get him to give me his mother's phone number. And as I've told probably hundreds of people, you ever through Austin, look me up. Come by and say hello.
Yeah,
Fat chance, right? You're going to come by the governor's mansion.
right. That's literally walled.
Yeah.
In security.
Armed guards,
Yeah,
and
armed
everything.
guards
It's
with
as
walls.
easy a throwaway line as a governor has. Hey, come by and see
Yeah.
me. If you're ever in town, come by and see me.
Yeah. Just like looking up at
So,
Bob Smith in the Yellow Book.
I go back. I call his mom and said, hey, Miss Luttrell, had a visit with your son. He's doing quite well. And I told him I'd give you a call if you ever need me. Here's my phone number. And I go on about my business. That was in August, first week of August of 2006. I got a campaign to run and state to run. And I don't forget about you, but
I sent 2 text messages while I was over. One when I got there, and the one when I was coming back. And he sent one back, said prayers answered.
In Iraq.
When I was in Iraq, yeah.
Because you left, he
Right
goes
after
back
dinner.
to Texas, you go
Yeah,
on
right
to
after dinner,
Iraq.
almost. Yeah, next day.
With your brother,
Oh, my brother, him.
Morgan.
Yeah.
These two
Back
two
into,
Latrell boys, and Jake Elsie, and the
Jake
rest
was
of
there,
SEAL
yeah.
Team 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramadi, Anbar
Yep.
province, 06.
Anyway, May of 07, legislative session's over with, or getting close to being over with. And I'm sitting in the governor's mansion, and the phone rings. It's the security detail. Sir, there's some young man down here who said that you told him that the next time he was in Austin to come by to see you, and he's here.
I parked at the front gate with my truck hanging out.
Serious.
2 lanes of traffic.
And-
Because
Do not doubt
come
that.
out the gate, it goes into a
One
freeway.
bit.
I was just sitting there and got out, and I was punching the gate. The guy's like, what the hell are you doing? He told me to show up.
What's his name? It's Marcus Latrell. I was kind of like, all right, see him in.
Oh my gosh.
So he walks in.
That happened.
That is May of 07, and he leaves, permanently leaves, in August of 09. So lives with us, not every day, I mean, but
I had to work.
You know, we,
Yeah.
well, and if you'll recall, the governor's mansion, we leave the governor's mansion, the arsonist tries to burn it down, and so we live 5 years off campus,
Yeah.
and we live in a three-floor home, and the top room is just, it's kind of wide open. You walk up the stairs and you're in the room, but it's got a bathroom, it's got a little kitchenette and what have you, and we put him a bed up there, and he knew
Your desk.
yeah, that's right. And he knew he could come and go, and as he, in the detail, you know, they
They were great.
they took care of him. And so anyway,
did.
he lived with us for a long time, and it was, there were some difficult times.
Oh, so difficult. It was awesome. And then,
I
Yeah.
can only imagine because I'm married.
well, it
to him,
facilitated all
so-
my physical recovery too, sending me to the hospitals, and then
We
Lady
threw-
Perry was a nurse, and flew me everywhere, and just it was.
We threw a lot of Jello at the wall street.
Hey, man,
trying to get
me
you
right.
well.
Yeah, finally got
And
me
you
there.
did. You
Yeah,
got him there.
well, I don't know about that. He met a really good girl. I always give credit to what really saved his life, other than just God's intervention, was meeting you.
All right, I tell you. Well, here now. Not
Don't
only-
argue with me on that one.
I'm not.
buddy.
No,
Take
I
Trust me on this one.
We've had that talk.
Yeah.
But I mean, most people don't know that on top of running the state and having your own kids, man, you're just having to deal with me. I was a freaking 6'5", 280-pound
Train wreck.
Navy SEAL train wreck Texan.
Yeah.
We
Parked up in the attic.
I know.
I mean,
we'd be
dude,
having.
there would be diplomats and dignitaries come over from different countries and be sitting in the kitchen, and I'd come bebopping down from the attic.
I have
Just my hair would be all adrift.
doubt.
My shirt, I'm all yoked out. I'm like, what's
Probably
up?
in gym shorts,
Yeah, just, you know.
Who's that?
eating an ice cream, eating Bluebell out of
just
the
going
thing.
straight to
2 in the morning, and these people are freaking out. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Everything's secure. You know, and just go back to the attic and watch reruns of House for years on end. You know what I'm talking about? But it was
But it
great.
all turned out good.
Yeah, man.
All turned out good. You know, and Morgan came into that mix, and all the stuff that he had going on, and Axios. What's the name of that? Well, it was called Athletes Performance.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah, it's Exos now.
Exos.
Yeah, yeah,
It was Andrews when I first went there.
yeah,
So I haven't missed a year.
yeah.
And
Jim Andrews,
Jim.
great physician.
Oh,
A
man.
great physician.
That's a whole different topic altogether.
Yeah.
Those people down
Yeah.
there, man. They're just, when y'all sent me there, that was a game changer.
He's still, Jim Andrews is, I think, probably, well, not probably, he is the finest orthopedic
Man.
surgeon.
He's about
in
to
the
work on me
world.
again.
He's the team coach at Auburn, team coach at Alabama. Go figure that one out, right? That's how good he is.
Yeah, right. Crossing the streams like that.
Two of the
that
best
joker in there.
football programs in America. And who's your team coach? Jim Andrews. It's kinda
Oh
like,
my
yep,
gosh.
he's that good.
Well, now at Exos, all those athletes from every university go in there
Yeah.
trying to make it in the program.
Yeah, yeah.
really done something well.
Yeah, they've done some great
Bless 'em
things.
for-
So anyway, well, here we are 17 years later, still making a difference.
Even governor and then secretary of energy. We had a blast when you.
Oh, yeah.
That was a crazy run.
That was where I got my eyes opened up about the issue of psychedelics for veterans' mental health, and
I don't remember the coolest thing you told me when you called me up. I was like, "Hey, you liking your job?" He's like, "I'm in charge of Area 51." Thank you, God. That's all I needed to hear, because I went out and had a badge made and a uniform, got pictures and creds, Men in Black right here, man.
I saw those. Summer's in full swing, and it's time to make the most of these sunny days. But with all the fun and excitement, who's got the time to cook anymore? That's where Factor comes to the rescue. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They deliver flavor-packed and nutritious meals straight to your door. No more grocery shopping, no more chopping or cleaning up. Literally, all you have to do is heat, enjoy, go back outside, and enjoy the warm weather. With over 30 restaurant-quality options like bruschetta shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, and grilled steakhouse filet mignon, you can indulge in gourmet meals that are ready in just 2 minutes. Factor offers calorie-smart meals in under 550 calories, as well as protein plus meals that have over 30 grams of protein. It's perfect for fine-tuning your body however you like. They even have you covered with over 45 add-ons, from delightful apple cinnamon pancakes to cold-pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. Here's my favorite part. Factor is also the sustainable choice. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions, and they use 100% of renewable electricity. So, this July, savor some flavors with the summer and go Factor. Go to factormeals.com/TNQ50 and use our code TNQ50 for an incredible 50% off your first order. That's TNQ50 at factormeals.com/TNQ50. Don't miss out on this mouth-watering offer. Fuel up, eat well, and stay on track with Factor, and your delicious summer adventure starts now.
That was
was
most
cool.
interesting job I ever had.
I'll bet.
That's true.
I
Not the
have
best
to
job.
say, with
Governor's the
Marcus,
best job, but
he still does that if someone says come over, like just as a passing, like goodbye parting thing, like, oh, hit me up if you're ever in town. We were at the Naval Academy. Marcus was honored this year as an honorary grad.
and listen, just for all the
Yeah.
listeners out there, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Okay,
It's like-
it's the
it's like
coolest qual
a
I
really,
got.
Really
Yeah.
big deal. I'm
It's a
telling
really
you.
cool
coolest
thing.
qual I got.
And we got to meet with the chancellor of the university and Vice Admiral Buck.
Superintendent.
I'm sorry, superintendent. Very, very, very awesome guy, and his wife. His wife was also honored at that.
She's my classmate.
Yeah, yeah. They were both.
Oh, well, y'all
honored.
brought in. That's pretty cool.
It was really
I mean, let me
cool.
tell you, I'm
Yeah.
just.
It was really cool. So anyway, he says next time you're in town, hit
come
me
by.
up. And I don't even think we exchanged info. Well, we go back to Annapolis a couple of weeks later, and we go onto the Naval Academy campus, just walking around. There are signs everywhere, just like at the governor's mansion, that say, do not enter these premises, private property, all of these things telling you not to go there. And Marcus just walks right up, and he's banging on the door, and Axe and Addie are like, Dad, no, Dad, you're gonna get shot. Because there's guards everywhere, and he's just up there banging on the door.
I mean, looking on the glass, looking in there, trying to find her. It was raining. It was raining too.
Y'all were classmates.
Classmates. I was like, and that's what I was telling her too. I was like, hey, it's Marcus. Answer the door.
Because there's like a ring camera thing, and he's going, it's Marcus.
Oh, it's
your
set up just like the
classmate."
governor's mansion too. So the downstairs is for all the people, and then the back quarters
Yeah.
are for the.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Well,
Pounding on-
nobody was there. Nobody answered the door, and he finally walked away from the threshold of the door, and I was like,
Don't invite me over. I'll show up.
Marcus will show up if you leave that invitation hanging out
There you
there.
go. Great.
That was a good time. That whole area up there, Annapolis, and that whole university. If you don't know about West Point and Annapolis, behind those dismal walls, I mean, everyone stays awake. If you get past there, though, it's something.
Yeah, our military academies, particularly West Point and the Naval Academy, are a lot of history there. And you think about, all the history at West Point, the history at the Naval Academy, the men, women who have gone to school there. And
We've had presidents come out of there.
oh yeah, well, and you think about in the some extraordinarily bittersweet stories when our country went through the war between the states, and young men who had graduated together and then faced each other on the battlefield.
How crazy had that had to be for us to family fight each other?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the worst war we ever had. More people probably died the worst way. No one can kill each other like family.
Yeah.
Well, and
We're
it
supposed
goes
to
back.
learn our lesson in that one so we don't do that again.
It goes back to that whole Sam Houston story that had he, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but
Yeah.
had he been elected president of the United States, how potentially he could have kept this country from ripping itself apart through the strife that we had in the Civil War.
Who came in after Jefferson Davis?
I mean, as
The governor of Texas.
well, Davis was never he was the president of the Confederacy.
Okay, check. Roger that.
Yep.
But when we got back online,
Oh, in
not to put you on the spot. That had to be the worst time to be.
Yeah, and Davis. His name was Davis, and Edmund J. Davis was the Reconstruction governor of Texas. So in 1866, there were, when Reconstruction was going along, Edmund J. Davis was put into office probably by Grant, if my memory serves me. Well, Grant was the president then, and or in the late '60s, Grant came in, and they would have served together. Edmund J. Davis, interestingly, was a Texan from Laredo, if my memory serves me correct on that, and he did not believe in the whole concept of secession and what have you, and he literally left and served with the Union forces as a brigadier general.
Wow.
And then so they put him back into place, and I think he served for 4 or 5 years. And Texas was going through. I mean, Reconstruction is terrible.
Oh, it's got to be the worst.
Terrible period of time. Anyway, long story short, he literally got run out of office, and that started a long period until 1978
My gosh.
of Democrat-elected governors in Texas. So Bill Clements was the first to, since
Turn it
Reconstruction, Reconstruction is over with in 1876, I think,
My gosh.
somewhere in there.
That's
Anyway,
crazy.
some good Texas history.
Well, that was an awesome Texas episode, because from now on we will actually have Texas Tidbits.
I'll ask him questions. I literally, I still call him all the time. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how many counties we got in this state?
254.
and
254.
54.
Yeah.
and then
Fifty-four,
like, hey,
yeah.
tell me some towns that I hadn't
and
been.
somebody says, "You've been to all of them, right?" And I was going like, "Nope."
No.
You haven't?
Oh Lord, no. I mean, I was the agriculture commissioner. I was.
And still didn't hit all of
governor,
them.
And I was the governor, and I still didn't go to all of them.
I thought you would have been on every.
I've been to a lot of them, but I did.
No, okay. Technically, we're talking about there's a difference between through and stopping and like to
Probably
drive
been through
all of them.
everyone.
Probably not.
You
Really.
don't think?
Texas
There's
is a
a
big place, man.
lot of counties where
Biggest
there aren't
out there.
any people.
Well, I feel like I've been to so many places with
I
y'all.
still
in
hear towns all the
Texas.
time.
Well, I've
never
been to a
heard
lot
of.
of them.
One of my and we'll wrap up now, but one of the coolest things that I have from one of my memories of y'all being, you and Anita being in office, is I got to go with her to one of the Main Street
Oh yeah.
things. And Texas has this Main Street program where they go in, and the state will help kind of build up the infrastructure to bring in businesses to old towns that have the old Main Streets.
Tourism.
Yeah,
and
tourism and
particularly
whatnot.
Those kind of things.
That is one of the neatest things that I think
She was
Texas
really good at
does.
that.
Yeah.
And no offense, but she was probably one of the more proactive, engaging. Really believed in those little small towns.
Yeah, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
she did that. That was
You
awesome.
pull in,
Great
you can,
job.
that's my favorite thing. You pull in the little Texas towns and you can see them. They're all made of brick or something. There's railroad tracks go through the
Great.
middle of town.
Great
Do you want to
history.
end with giving your top 5 small towns in Texas? Top
No.
5 faves?
That's like,
Man,
That's
we get
like-
in trouble for that.
yeah.
If you leave one out,
that's like, which one of your
because I wouldn't even have said my hometown, right?
your
But my
children do you love
hometown's
the
obviously the best one. I'm not walking into that trap.
Well, I love Round Top. So Round Top is one of the greatest.
Round Top's a great, not just because we live
Yeah.
in that area, but
Yeah.
it
is great,
It
though.
is a great little
and
town.
like Round
Fayetteville,
Top.
all of the
There's so
Fayette
many.
County.
Listen, that is an impossible task. You
Yeah.
literally couldn't put. Now, it's kind of like best barbecue places in Texas.
Yeah.
That's
The-
fist fights start over crap like that, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
Franklin.
there's so many of them.
I don't think.
There's
know,
so
I don't
many
think-
of them that
Tejas.
Truth Barbecue.
Yeah.
What,
Franklin's, Tejas.
Leonard,
I mean, you go all day
Leonard
with that.
Botel
You really
and,
can't go
and
wrong.
his crew.
Yeah.
They moved into Round Top now.
Yeah.
They run a place called Merit
Yeah.
Meat Company.
Hey, but Royers owns Round Top.
Yeah.
But there's like six.
I'm just going to throw that out for JB.
Yeah, there's like 6 legitimate restaurants in town. I mean, of course, Royers is kind of like they're in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Exactly right. They are. God, man, they're chicken on
If you
Sunday.
do come into Texas, though, you need to hit a Whataburger, a Buc-ee's, and hit a Bluebell ice cream. You got to have
Yeah.
a Texas hat trick.
Yeah.
You gotta go
And then stop at Shiner and have a Shiner
yeah,
beer.
beer and a beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank
Got
you
you
for
covered.
coming on vacation. Thank
First
y'all
Texas
for
Tidbits,
coming
yeah,
in.
right?
Texas
Thank you so
Tidbits.
much.
I just made some
And-
history.
Yeah.
Did the first Texas Tidbit.
Yes. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.